I was scrolling LinkedIn this week and I saw Mark the Tech Ninja on LinkedIn. You were on an award stage winning a sales rep performance award at Cisco. And I know that just a little while ago, you were not even in tech sales. So, Mark, how did you get in tech sales and how are you now on an award stage for Cisco? Such a great tech company.
Hey, well, first of all, happy to be here, Trent. Yeah, thank you. It's been a magical journey and ride thus far. I wasn't necessarily on the awards stage, but I was there in the midst of 22,000 Cisco employees and a week in Vegas for our GSX conference and all expenses paid trip. And yeah, thanks to my pivot into tech and CourseCareers, which started my journey here.
That's amazing. What were you doing before you got into tech?
Before tech, I was the furthest away from the tech industry. Literally never wanted to work a corporate job, but because I never finished college, I got into entrepreneurship. I thought that was the fastest way to six figures, and I had a fitness business for 7 years. Right here in Chicago. And right before the pandemic, I opened up my own gym in 2019, and we all know what happened the next year. And that's when my struggles began. And I, knew that I had to do something else. I wanted to be in a pandemic-proof industry, and I wanted to be in something that I could scale up and really provide for my family. And that's what got me into the tech space.
So it sounds like it was a series of unfortunate events with the pandemic hitting, deciding to go into the fitness space, and then realizing, hey, I need something better with more upside, more stability that I also like. And I'm sure a lot of people out there listening right now can relate to that. They're looking for a change in their life, whether it's they don't like what they're doing, they don't see the upside, they want to better provide for their family, more work-life flexibility with being able to work fully remote, for example. Once you decided you needed to make a change, how did you make a change?
Yeah, really, like you said, once I decided to make that decision, that was the starting point, was to just decide, okay, this is it. I saw all the upside, like you said, the remote working, the flexibility, so I could be at home with my family. I could pick my son up from school, take him to activities. And I knew tech was it. I saw the testimonies, saw people that were really doing it. And what really got me in the tech space is when I decided to put some money into it. When I decided to invest on myself, to bet on myself. And I was looking through different various boot camps. I saw some were, five stacks, some were, they would take a percentage of your income for the first year or until you paid them back. And I knew that wasn't the route for me. I needed something because I was in a place where I'm just going to be straightforward, Trent. I was in a money jam after shutting down my gym, and once I saw a video about CourseCareers, it was very affordable. It was $500. There was a $50 promotion, and I'm like, okay, I could get that in a day. I'll drive Uber. I'll do whatever it takes. I could make 450, and literally invested in myself and was like, all right, we're gonna do this today. And yeah, when I made that decision, I invested in myself, and that also pushed me more because I knew I had some money in it. But you got some skin in the game. You're gonna work harder. You can sit up here and watch all these free videos on YouTube and try to piece it together, but that might take years. That might take a long time. You might just be spinning your wheels. But when I saw CourseCareers, it was a proven path. And I saw all the testimonials. You can go and find these people on LinkedIn like myself, and they're real people. We're not bots. And I was like, okay, people are doing this. It's real. I'm gonna do it. I could do this in 3 weeks. I know I can get it done. And that's what I did.
Well, if you were going to be a bot, I think Tech Ninja would be one of the first bot names you could select. Yeah. But it sounds like with your back against the wall in a money jam, as you said, I would imagine that created a lot of urgency for you to not waste time and start taking immediate action. What was your experience like in CourseCareers? How long did it take to complete the course? What did you learn from it? And then we'll talk about how you actually got the job, because I think that information is especially valuable to the job seekers out there.
First of all, how was my experience in Course Careers? So yeah, right away, I actually did the trial. You know, you can just go on and do a free demo class, a video, and right away, I
The
knew there
link
was
below.
yeah. Click that link and just do it. It's not. It doesn't cost you anything to just try it out right away. And that was right at the time where I think right before you became an instructor on there. What's funny is like actually during the course, they switch. You became the instructor, so I got to get the fresh content with you, which was really cool. But what I did was I signed up, and my experience was everything was straightforward. Like if you can go to a 4-year university, you're going to take all these electives, you're going to take art, you're going to take science, you're going to take all these things that really do not relate to the job, right? But course careers, you're literally doing the job, right? You're doing the job to get the job. And that is something that you'll continue to hear. And I heard this from a lot of my mentors when I was looking to break into tech. They would say, you got to do the job to get the job. So, Course Careers to me is the quickest path. I did it in 21 days because I knew I had to get to it. I have some mouths to feed, and it really was a sense of urgency, but at the same time I knew I was learning really valuable things that not only would get me a job but would get me a six-figure career. And if I really lock in, I could scale up to multiple six figures in this industry.
So how did you land the job at Cisco?
Yeah, so right off the bat, I didn't. So when I finished Course Careers, literally it took me 3 weeks. I started applying. I got rejected a couple times, and that kind of can hinder the progress, right? Head was down, like, what is there something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? But then that's when I reached out to a mentor and started reaching out to coaches, found people on LinkedIn. Course Careers has coaches, that do a lot of free workshops. So you really want to tap into the coaching and learn from the people who have done it, right? Success leaves clues. There's a proven path. So
Mm.
I was like, all right, who did Course Careers and how did they land a role? What did they do differently that got them, into tech versus me getting these rejections, right? And I learned that spraying and praying was not the way to go, right? Which means just hitting easy apply on LinkedIn, apply, apply, apply. I knew people that were applying to 50 jobs a day, 100 a week, doing crazy numbers. And I was doing half that. I was doing the 10% of that. But I was still getting rejected. But then what I learned was I needed to do something to stand out, right? And I leveraged my previous experience, which was in the fitness industry. I worked with schools and nonprofits. I did programs, I did work with them. So I found a tech company that was selling software to nonprofits, right? And I basically highlighted that in my LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is your resume, right? You want to highlight that in your previous experience. So I just put those keywords that were in the job description in my resume. And that basically, truth be told, Trent, the recruiter found me, right? I was applying for these jobs and that wasn't going nowhere. But when I really enhanced and focused on my LinkedIn and Course Careers, right away, they tell you, focus on your LinkedIn, get 500 connections, right? So you can become more visible, right? Start connecting with people. By doing these things, you're going to stand out and you're going to start to attract attention. So because I was really focused on upping my LinkedIn game and I was sharing my journey, I was posting, I was commenting on others, and I was following tech creators like yourself, Trent. I was following people in the tech industry and just commenting and just being very visible, right? And letting it be known that, hey, I'm here. I'm a free agent, right? And the recruiter actually found me and was like, hey, I think you'd be a great fit for this job. Do you have time this week to chat for an interview, right? For a recruiter screening, all right? So that was the job I landed. But leading up to that, I will say that I had gotten a couple interviews with recruiters, but they were in totally different industries than the nonprofit technology space, right? Selling software to nonprofits, which I said I had an experience with. So to make a long story short, Trent, I broke into tech utilizing my previous experience, right? The first company I worked for was linked to my previous experience. So I always tell people who reach out to me, like, what job should I target? If you're a teacher, look at ed tech companies, right?
Hmm.
If you're in banking, right? If you're a bank teller, whatever, fintech. If you are in healthcare, health tech. If you're a server at a restaurant, there's restaurant tech like Open Table Talk. There's so many ways you can leverage your previous experience. So stop focusing on what experience you don't have and focus on what you do have and highlight that. And that's how I literally broke into tech. And then getting to Cisco, that was another, that's another story. You want me to go deeper into that? I can tell you how I was able to, get into there as well.
Let's talk about that, because I'm sure you utilized the lessons from the first time you broke in to then up leveling to perhaps a better opportunity. So, and that's a question I wanted to ask, is what would you do differently if you could go back? And it seems like you had that opportunity with finding the new job at Cisco. So why don't you tell that story?
When I work with mentees now, when they reach out to me, I tell them make a list of your top 5 to 10 companies, right? That's your dream job list, right? Based off of your values, based off of things you want to see, like work-life balance, salary, leadership development, right? Career growth track, things like that. Now, in my position, not everybody has that luxury and can wait for the dream job to come. I had to get it. I had to get that bag quick, Trent, because like I said, I got mouths to feed, and I knew I had to get into tech, and then from there I would be able to pivot. So once like I said, broke into tech, utilizing my background, I focused on just really excelling in my day-to-day job, right? I'm like, okay, I'm here. This may not be my dream role, my end all be all company, right? I knew I wanted to be in a place where I could really scale up. I wanted to be in a top tech company. Checking out sites like RepView, it's a really good tool to check out ratings on companies and read reviews and all those things. So I saw, okay, these are the companies I want to be in, right? So I'm going to really excel in my current day-to-day job, right? Because your current situation is not your final destination. I always leverage that quote. That's a quote, I knew I'm here, but I'm going to make the best of it. So I hit the ground running. Literally was 100% my first month, right? And then I was like the top 1 or 2 reps my second month because I went in with a game plan. You got to have a plan when you go into these companies, right? And watching Trent's YouTube channel, and it's not just because you're here, right here, but literally I was immersing myself in the tech space and tech sales and learning from the best, right? So when you go into these jobs, let's say you go into a company, it's not your top company, be the best rep there, right? Really stand out. And what I did was when I was hitting these numbers, I put it on my LinkedIn. I put, Q3 F fiscal year 23, whatever it was. I was 125% to quota. Boom. I would put my numbers, right? So you got to go in and let your numbers do the talking, right? So now when I'm going to apply for these bigger companies, I have leverage there because they see I'm a top rep. I'm a top performer, right? And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. If a company's looking to hire you, they're going to say, hey, all right, what's the return on this investment, right? Is this somebody we're going to have to teach, from the ground up? Are they going to take a while to develop? Okay, look at this guy. He's already hitting numbers, right? He's standing out. Okay, we just got to find out why he wants to leave. And then you tell him, hey, this is when you're interviewing, you say, you're my dream company. You really make it known you're passionate about the product, the leadership, be able to speak on the company. So when I went into the interview with Cisco, I I used AI tools, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Perplexity AI, and research the companies, look at their 10Ks and all these reports they put out, take quotes from leaders in podcasts. So I knew who I was interviewing, right? It was a 6-round interview. I was interviewing with 6 different people. And I went on each of their LinkedIn, and I scraped all the data and found different things. Oh, this guy's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So, I sent him an email before our interview, and I put hashtag Go Chiefs at the bottom. And when I get into the interview with him, he's like, I saw that, Go Chiefs, really nice touch. You got to do little things to make it known that you pay attention to them as a person, because these are real people you're interviewing with. So treat it as such, right? It's like you're going on a date. You want to learn a little bit about them before, so you have something to conversate. You have a point of conversation when you get into that interview. So before I got into the interview with these people, I was researching them. I found out one had a podcast, and I got a quote from her podcast that she said. I was like, oh, I really like what you said in this podcast, episode 37, about blah 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 XYZ. And she was like, oh, really? You listen to my podcast? That's really, yeah, some might think it's cheesy, but people love that. People love talking about themselves. People love hearing about themselves and how great they are. So it's definitely, valuable to go ahead and make sure you do that extra research, and put in extra time to research, not only the company, but the people you're interviewing with.
Well, you've given away all the answers. The blueprint has been decoded, and anyone who wants to get into tech sales, yeah, I mean, you've outlined exactly what to do. You've said so many great points there. The final question is, where can people find you at? It sounds like you're doing some coaching, you doing some content as well. Where can they find you?
You can find me on CourseCareers, one of the coaches on there. So go to CourseCareers, look up the coaches, you'll see me. And sign up for a workshop, sign up for a one-on-one coaching, sign up for a 5-week accelerator where I really go deep on those gems, and give people some of the templates that I use, and help them develop scripts and talking points, so when they get in these interviews they could really excel. I'm also on LinkedIn as well, and just take action, y'all.
You mentioned the coaching was key, and anyone listening right now can connect with yourself, Marc, the tech ninja. And I've linked a link to CourseCareers in the description below with that $50 off code that you had mentioned. So everyone check out the free intro course, and you can decide if the paid course is right for you. Marc, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Trip.